Welcome to Clubakwaaba on Muntu Bantu Digital Narrowcast. The thoughts, views, opinions expressed by the host of this narrowcast are for educational purposes only and may at times become entertaining or nonetheless serious in nature due to the topics we select and cover. We are not exposing, revealing, indicting, or telling you anything other than what's already reported by the big budget mainstream media. We look to shine the light of Baba Mungu by exposing what is done in darkness to light. Enjoy the narrowcast.
Welcome to Clubakwaaba on Muntu Bantu. This is your brother SilverbackKONGO and
this is Jade Phoenix Rising.
back again with another beautiful narrowcast. Oh, Jade, it's been a while, huh?
Yes, it has. You know how they say the term April showers? Well, it was not necessarily spring for me. It was more of the amount of work and the things that I had to do in April had me running like sprints, marathons, and triathlons. I had so much to deal with, and I had to kind of get that all out of the way so that I can go back to this, which is what we are here to do, is to just share some insight and some thoughts about what's going on in the world today and how it affects our community. So I'm so glad to be back. So glad to be back. And I know you've been busy too. Yeah, I hear you have some other narrowcasts in the works. It's pretty exciting to see what's emerging. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, the family tree is growing. Okay? So
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be many more contributors coming on Muntu Nabantu.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal is to make sure that everyone flourishes. All right,
Mm-hmm.
that is the goal.
Yeah.
Family, I thank you. I thank you guys for coming once more for another Club Akwaaba narrowcast. And before we start, I would like to prepare the table for you. For those of you who are coming on for the first time, please make sure you click the subscribe button and make sure that you are able to also click the like button, and you should also be able to comment when you find, if you find the content valuable and applicable to your life. And last but not least, make sure for you to be able to go ahead and share this narrowcast with other people. Okay? So do us that favor. Please support by contributing, and we'll be very, very happy that you. First of all, we're happy that you're here with us. Okay.
That's
Eh,
right.
yes. So Jays, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, um, gosh, I have a lot of projects in the works.
Mm,
I'm personally working on some freelance projects
mm-hmm,
outside of our Narrowcast.
mm-hmm,
I have been working on some products. My daughter and I are going to be launching our Etsy store soon. We've been
mm-hmm,
working on some materials there, but she's still in school, so we have to finish the school thing first.
mm-hmm,
And which is our focus. We just have like what 1 month and a half left of schooling, and
mm,
just personal development too. I've been doing a lot of research in terms of like um learning more ways of expanding myself as an entrepreneur. And it's
mm,
when you're doing it from grassroots, it's not like the old school way of going back to school and getting your associate's degree and a bachelor's degree in business,
mm-hmm,
because unfortunately some of the things they teach in college are not applicable with the way we're conducting business today in our generation. I mean, we have so many options and ways of making money from home that really doesn't apply if you don't have a brick and mortar business. So
mm,
just learning how to be an entrepreneur in of itself is an ongoing process. So it's all very exciting, and of course, um, there's a lot of energy of uncertainty of, okay, how is this going to go? But nonetheless, I feel empowered. I feel encouraged, and I also like being around like-minded people like yourself. So that's why
mm,
being on this Narrowcast is exciting, because it's an adventure, and the journey in of itself, we get to meet different types of people and see what they're up to, and then just see how we can empower and encourage each other as we're on this journey. So, yeah, thank you for asking. I appreciate that.
mm. Excellent,
Yeah,
excellent, excellent. I don't
yeah.
know if it's me, but perhaps it's my line. Do you hear that? Do you hear that subtle?
Oh, okay. Not really, but I think I know what I can do to improve the sound. Just a second.
Uh,
Is this better?
oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. But I'm still hearing. I think it's on my end. I don't know what it is. Of lately, I don't know. Sometimes you think you set everything up just right, and then and also my ears. I don't know. I feel like I'm a bet. I hear everything. I hear everything. You know.
Oh, gosh.
Yes.
Well, for those who have allergies, we smell everything, so I can relate on that level. It's like, do you
Mm.
smell that? And I'm like, no, I
Mm.
smell it. We smell the rain. We
Yeah.
smell foul odors. We can smell people smoking from a different apartment.
Hmm.
We're like hound dogs, detectives.
Okay.
So,
Whatever you did, I guess it fixed it because I don't hear it anymore. But
oh,
family,
okay.
family, family. It's always exciting to do a narrow cast. It's always exciting to
Mm-hmm.
together with my friend Jade, And some of you actually listen to the other Narrowcast. It's Mind Theorist. And like she said, the family is growing. The family tree is growing, and it's gonna be more and more and more and more. So for those of you who at times you get to hear us here and there, where it seems as if we're not consistent, in coming days and weeks and months, you're gonna see I'm going to be like a staple on the internet. You're gonna hear me all the time. You may not like my voice, so perhaps you should get used to it now, because you're gonna hear this African voice speaking to you every day, every minute of the day. Yeah, definitely. There's a bigger picture here at play. So
yeah, take a break from Trump world.
yeah, exactly.
We got to get off of the Trump news for a little while and hear
Yeah,
other perspectives. Yeah, it's
yeah,
good. Good noise. Good noise.
yeah. So let me put up the board so we can see the topic. But anyway, family, today the title is What's Cancel Culture? And I know what's cancel culture? And I know this particular topic is driving you crazy, Jade.
Yeah, actually it has. And I want to prepare our audience to let you know today's
Mm-hmm.
topic is something that you might, after we've discussed it, you were going to walk away with some insight, and you're going to also walk away wanting to look and dig deeper for answers for yourself. Because every time Silverback and I had talked about this topic, I had to walk away. I had to do some research. I had to do some reflection. I had to do some more research. I had to think about this, and I had to talk about it some more. And I said, you know what? This is going to be a challenging topic.
Mm,
And so for you joining us today, I'm letting you know we're not the authority of this topic, but I can say it's definitely worth um, thinking about. And
mm,
and and I'm going to share why. I'm going to share why. Okay. So thank you for bringing up this topic, Silverback, and I
mm-hmm,
look forward to seeing where this discussion goes. I feel like
mm-hmm.
I'm on the Mind Theorist show right now, and I would like my $25,000 prize at the end of the show. Thank you very much. If this was what, would you like to be a millionaire? This is the $1 million question. What is cancel culture, and how
Mm-hmm.
does it affect you today?
Mm.
Speak, black man, speak.
Well, for those of you who are wondering what is cancel culture, I would say if you're black, and we're gonna have some intruders coming to listen to this particular topic, but I've got to say this, and not to tweet, as I would say, not tweak, right? Tweak our own horns, right? As black folks, we are the people who actually create culture here in America, right? If you think
Hmm.
about it, whether it's fashion, whether it's music, anything relating to entertainment, black folks pretty much are the faces, the people who actually create the buzz, right? Even though the people who are financing these projects are always, you know, there are people
Hmm.
who, there's another word for it. What do you call it, Jade? What's that word?
Well, we had I think the term is called whitewashing. Is that
That's one.
that was an
That.
old
Yeah,
phrase
that's
that was used that they kind of phased out.
yeah, that's one of them. And there's another one. It hasn't phased out, by the way. It would never phase out because they continue to use the same methods.
Hmm.
right? But it's another word. Someone who a brother by the name of Damien Dash made this particular word popular. Can you guess which one was it?
Is it when he said, "I'll cancel you"? Is that the phrase? Because I know that was used in the movies a
Yeah,
few times.
yes, but that's not the one. There's another one. That's a recent one that Damien Dash made it popular. It starts with the word culture, and ends with it starts with the word culture, and it also starts with a letter V.
Culture. Let me see. I think I need more clues.
Culture V. Culture V. Culture
V. Gee, I need to call a lifeline. I need to go on to Google.
I know somebody's like, I know what it is. I know what it is. Say this. Can
I have a 50-50?
Yeah, you can have a 50-50. Go ahead.
Okay. So what are my choices? Culture V, that is the 50-50. Oh my gosh. So now I need a lifeline. I need someone to text me right now. Text me below. Is it culture revolt? Is it culture?
Not
Is that am I close?
No, not revolt.
Culture vultures?
Culture vulture. That's
Culture vul. See,
right.
I was close. See, okay, it's coming to me now. Culture vultures.
Culture
Gee.
vultures. Yes. We've got culture vulture. We've got
culture vultures.
Yes.
You know what? That actually makes a lot more sense than cancel culture.
Yes. Well, I mean, cancel culture again. Cancel culture is altogether. When we talked about this, you said the key word. It was a political term, right? Cancel culture is a political term, but there are more to this word that is extremely insidious. So most of our people just always just go along with what the media says. But for those of us, especially the kids who grew up in the city, New York City to be specific, we are hip kids. We know we can tell when these people are taking and they are gentrifying our culture, right? We know when they're doing. See, that's another term, gentrification. See, there's a lot of words. You got culture vulture.
Yes. Okay. So at this point, I'm gonna play the librarian. Okay.
Okay.
Everyone, take out a pencil and a piece of paper, and you're gonna write down these words: culture vulture, cancel culture, whitewash, and you just named one. It was gentrification. Gentrification. Okay. And the homework is to find the definition of all of them and see how they link together. How are these words somehow linked together? So, keeping my librarian glasses on, I'm going to read the definition of cancel culture so that we can kind of at least define this one word because it is the topic of the day.
And before you go, Jedi, I call her Jedi.
Yes.
Personally, is Jade, but I call her Jedi. So family, before you go, Jade, we've got to do the quote of the day because we are.
Oh man,
we
here
don't
comes
want
the
to.
glasses. I have to take them off.
Yeah, we don't.
I was just getting into it.
Yeah, because I know how this is gonna go. I know how this is gonna go. So family,
Right, so we're gonna take a break for a commercial, okay?
Commercial break. Yes.
Okay, it's time for a
Commercial
commercial.
break. So I'm going to read the quote of the day for you, family, and then I'll give you a visual, okay? The word of the day is, it's pretty much, it's Isaiah chapter 40, verses 31. It says, but those who hope in the Lord, Bwana, will renew their strength. They will soar with wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Family, those who hope in Bwana, the Lord, will renew their strength. You know, this thing you call life, this game of life, it's a spiritual game. Okay? Within your life, there's going to be many obstacles. And the things that we're talking about today, the topic of that we're having today, this particular scripture it pretty much aligns perfectly. Okay? If you are a Muntu, if you're a melanated person on this planet, your life has not been easy. Okay? There are entities who have constructed systems that would hinder you from living the life that the Creator designed for you. Okay? And because the systems that they have in place, these systems are oppressive systems. Now, I know I'm saying systems and I'm not being specific, but I can say that, if apart from the natural disasters, natural incidences, whether it's health or, things that are natural, things that you yourself you've done, or perhaps you've contributed to your life. If you are a person who picks up habits that hinder you from living your best life, that's one form of oppression. But make no mistake, that was placed there. It's not by accident. All right? So there are many things in life that are just obstacles that were placed in our system. They are right in front of you. You may not even say, "Oh, this is oppressive," but there are so many layers of oppression in this world. So I can go ahead and name them and list them, but that's for you to do. But I want you to take this particular scripture and then examine it, and you will start to discover the invisible layers of oppression that are laid like traps all over you, all around you. All right? So take this particular scripture to heart. I'm going to give you a visual so you can see for yourself. All right, family? You got anything to add to that, Jade, before I give them a visual?
No, you actually said it well. I mean, the scripture itself is very self-explanatory.
Yeah, pretty much if you rely on the Father, you will be strengthened. Okay, so let me give you a visual, family. Let's go there right now. Bam! There you go. Very nice frame for your home. You can find this by clicking the link in the description, and it'll take you directly to the the most popular website, the most popular marketplace, I should say, on the internet. Okay? They give you different visuals. Boom. There you go. Okay? 11 and a half inches by 15 inches.
Oh, actually, I would like to share something about the scripture itself. Being that we are all, on many levels are
Mm-hmm.
facing different types of challenges in our life, whether it be financial, whether it's our kids in school trying to keep up with the school curricula or just the homework, or just even on an emotional level where we are somewhat exhausted with what's in the media, exhausted with the price gouging and the inflation and our worries in life, which are very significant, which inflation and rent. We have a lot of events that are happening in our lives that are very stressful. And as children of the Most High, it is very, very, very much important for us to renew our strength in Him,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many things that we do not have in our control. From one day to the next, from one week to the next, we are wondering when are things going to get better?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to get worse? We would like to plan for a vacation, for example, like summer is around the corner. But with inflation, is it wise to spend right now?
Mm-hmm.
Should you hold on to it? And yet we emotionally and I'm speaking for myself. I would love to go away. I want to go away. But we know, just a year ago, with the COVID cases on the rise everywhere, it wasn't the safest thing to do to bring your child out of the country and risk your health for for a vacation. And the prices were going up and down, and that was like a lure, you know. It's like, oh, it's cheap to go to Mexico. Let's go there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of temptation, and it's very important for us to stay grounded in the Word, to read, to pray, to
Mm-hmm.
reflect, to meditate, because these are uncertain times,
Mm-hmm.
and we cannot um, put our family and ourselves in a deeper turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important for us to stay connected with Him. As for those who are wicked, they will get their reward in hell.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I gotta say. They're wreaking havoc in this world. They're lining their pockets really thick. They really are enjoying us as we are struggling. But we ourselves, the children of the Most High, must understand that we do not live and operate as they. And it's important for us to keep ourselves prayed up, to stay strong, to know that there is a will. God, it does not make mistakes, and
Mm-hmm.
things are shifting. The energies are shifting. Things are being exposed. Even these so-called rich tycoons are going to court over everyone is coming out of the woodworks for their money. So they will have their day in court. They will be exposed, and all that riches and glory is going to come to shame on them, you know. But you keep your head up, stay prayed up, stay, connected, because God has you and your family, and you just need to keep your faith strong, because it may not seem like He is um working on everything all at once, but He is. And you have to trust that He is with you. Just stay connected, stay focused, and don't lose hope. That's my 2 cents on that little scripture.
Sweet.
I know that keeps me inspired, because I have my share of challenges, but I keep my head above water, knowing, yeah, he loves me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ingeta, ingeta, ingeta.
that's right. Got to give Him praise.
That's right.
Got
That's
to. It's
right.
more. It's not just a commercial. I take it back. I'm sorry I said that. Because His word reigns over
Yeah.
everything that they're trying to sell us on TV. This
Mm-hmm.
is the most important message of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I take it back. I am so sorry.
Oh, no problem. No problem. No problem.
Yeah,
So we're gonna get right into it right away, right into it. So
that's right.
who started cancel culture? Well, first of all, finish your thoughts, because you were giving definitions. You were giving
Yes,
the viewers a
yes.
homework, right? So
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. This is where I get to be the nerd, and
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Uh,
It's good.
Um, so yes, according to Wikipedia, which is not like the best source, but it is, they update everything quite often, trying to keep things current.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel culture is a phrase, a contemporary phrase that was used in the late 2010s to the early 2020s, fairly recent, and it's used to refer to a culture in which those who are deemed to have acted or spoken in an unacceptable manner are ostracized, boycotted, or shunned. This shunning may extend to a social or professional circles, whether on social media or in person, with most high profile incidents involving celebrities. Can you think of one celebrity that has faced numerous cancel culture accusations? I can think of one.
um, Cancel culture accusations,
Yes.
or they have tried to cancel.
No, they both. He's been accused, I'm going to say he,
Uh-huh.
and has been canceled.
Okay. Well,
Like,
well, first of all, I want to say that they absolutely cannot cancel anyone. When I say they, the powers that be that gentrify this word because it didn't come from them. They took that word and then now they're trying to manufacture a way to cancel not just our culture as a people, but they're gonna start with one individual first. They tried to cancel David Chappelle, okay?
mm-hmm.
They've tried to cancel Michael Jackson.
Yes.
They've tried to cancel
Kanye. Kanye. That
hey,
was the
whoa,
answer.
whoa, Kanye. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
It's Kanye.
Okay.
It's Kanye. He's like in their face
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to shut him up.
Mm-hmm.
And he is not backing down. He is so bold.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of trying to cancel him out professionally, trying to silence him by, coming down on him like mafia style,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, he made one comment about the Jews and now the whole Jewish nation is on, trying to cancel him.
You mean
So this cancel culture, in terms of like, tarnishing him as a brand, as a business,
mm-hmm.
and then as a man, and then all of the trolls that are trying to shame him on media, social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming at him in so many different ways. So he's the perfect example of seeing how cancel culture is in effect right before our eyes.
Right. Well, I mean, how can you cancel the culture? How can you cancel the cultural creators? Right?
Well, you know what? He doesn't. They're not. Okay. Good question. And the thing is that cancel culture in of itself is a different way. Here's a new word to add to your list, guys. Paradox. The word paradox,
Mm-hmm.
if we define it, I have to be the nerd for a moment
Go
because
ahead.
it's very important to understand what this word means. A paradox is when you have a statement that contradicts itself,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the word killjoy.
Kind of
It's
like
like,
the word oxymoron.
yes, it's an oxymoron.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear cancel and culture, cancel as it is was used in one of the Wesley Snipes movies, it means to
Mm-hmm.
kill culture, kill
Mm-hmm.
culture. So subliminally we hear kill culture, but from a political standpoint, trying to be politically correct using whitewashed terminology, I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to sound proper. Whitewash terminology, cancel culture also has another message, and it politically is trying to say we have the authority to tell you what to say and what not to say, and how you should behave. Some unknown parties has given themselves the authority to tell people to go back. If you've published a book, go back and change some of the words because it is discriminatory against a certain culture or peoples. They're telling you to go and rewrite your book,
Mm-hmm.
re-edit things, or we will not sell it. They're
Mm-hmm.
telling people, celebrities, you're under my contract, and while you're under me, you're not about you cannot talk about such and such topics. So if they're candid in conversations, in interviews, and you say one offensive sentence or comment,
Mm-hmm.
you will be shut down. You could lose your jobs, you could lose your brands, you could lose your shows, you could lose everything because of what you just said.
So so
Cancel
ba-
culture.
so basically what you're saying is that they're going to manufacture a system
Mm-hmm.
that will will be used as a way to police people's
Yes.
behaviors, right?
Mm-hmm.
By way of superseding, or I should I say, superseding the laws, right? They're like moral laws instead of
Mm-hmm.
judicial laws, right?
That's right. And
Okay.
someone's making themselves the authority of these so-called unwritten moral laws
Mm-hmm.
and saying you're not speaking our language. We
Right.
don't want you to say those things. So
Yeah.
someone's playing the puppet master. Someone's yanking the reins, saying we didn't like what you just said, so we're going to shut you down.
Right.
Cancel culture.
Yeah. Now, like any other cultural norm that's created by black people, they would take it. What did they say? They said the devil is one who, how do you say, he's the accuser, right? The scripture says he's an accuser. He's, um, so those who those who have taken on the characteristics of a devil are going to utilize this particular term to publicly judicate, basically in the court of the public opinion. They're going to utilize a mob of a people, okay, whom they have trained, programmed
Mm-hmm.
to attack whomever they want to attack, right? That's what you're saying. This is
Mm-hmm.
in short, these are the tactics that the enemy is going to incorporate
Mm-hmm.
for the Muntu, for the Bantu, the melanated people, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm perceiving. This is what I'm thinking you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
say.
Yeah. I mean, it's a way. It's a. They're trying to make a cool word out of censorship.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to make a cool word, something trendy, a spin on words, and make it seem like it's a law, but it's really just censorship, racism, um, whitewashed um, behavior that has become uh, an unwritten law. Like, who is the authority to tell you? We in America know that we have our First Amendment right of freedom of speech, but because of this new craze and this new word that they're trying to make trend, and I'm using keywords like trend, you know, saying, "Oh, you just did something that's so, cancel culture-ish, and this is against our ideologies." So
Mm-hmm.
then now groups of people are on the offense and then it becomes and leads to riots and protests, and this is where it becomes political, where now all of a sudden people like DeSantis will will get up at a podium and say, well, we don't agree with them, and then from it goes from a sentence, a thought,
Mm-hmm.
to all of a sudden riots or
Mm-hmm.
protests, or Republicans versus Democrats. And what happened to freedom of speech? I mean, and it's not to say that whoever said it is trying to start a revolution, like take it on that level. We are entitled to speak and think and feel, but when you have people becoming authorities over your thoughts, and it's not just your thoughts, it's it's an attempt to quash and silence people who may be right. They may be right. And here's my reasoning. And I'm just going to give you an example. When parents say, I do not want sex education or the other being taught to my child, when we're here just to teach them reading, writing, and arithmetic. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't send them to public school to be taught about who you're going to sleep with at age 9 or 10.
Or five
This
years
is
old.
inappropriate. And five,
Mm-hmm.
why are we having um, transgender or having drag queens read books to our kids? Like, who is incorporating this in the curricula? This is inappropriate. Parents have the right to say no. But
Ooh.
all of a sudden, because they said something that is, you know, oh, that's taboo. This is cancel culture. You're offending them. Now, them, I'm saying them because you can't say he, she, it, they, them. You're offending them.
Yeah.
You got to get the pronouns right.
Binary,
You're
by
offending them. Yes,
them,
a
it.
non-binary.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Then all of a sudden, they all clap back and say, you're violating our rights. But
Yeah.
look, this is my child. I don't want you enforcing or forcing your ideology on my child. I just want my child to learn to read and write. Period. Do that right, and everything else is extra. But no,
Ooh.
everything becomes political, and it's like, but we, the school, have to now abide by who? Like, who are you trying to please? Are you
Ooh.
their first and foremost primary, responsibility is to teach the children how to read and write, right? Not enforce upon an ideology that or philosophy that someone else has. Okay, if you want to sleep with such and so, that's your choice. You're an adult. You have that choice. But my child came to learn to read and write. So get out of their space. And if someone says something like that, then the school can get shut down, the teacher can get fired, the the parents, will be heckled, or you know
No, no, no. They won't
it,
be.
it, it gets really ugly.
They won't be
It gets
heckled.
really ugly.
They
Well,
won't.
maybe in Florida.
They
Maybe in
won't.
Florida.
No, no. They won't be heckled. They'll just call them walk, walk.
Yeah, woke. In
Another,
any
another,
event,
another term.
they'll be
Another
silent.
term.
They're going to be try to be silenced. They're
Another
going to be trying.
term.
It's like put up or shut up, or take your child out and homeschool, because this is how we're going to roll.
Well, Jade. I mean,
And we're up against a lot. Okay, we're up against a lot, and trying to make this term cancel culture cool is not cool. We have to understand what this behavior, where it's leading to, because who is making themselves the authority over saying you cannot speak your mind? When Kanye speaks, it's like there's a lot of people who listen, but they are ready to lynch him. They're so ready. They're just looking and waiting for an opportunity to do it, and it goes beyond his his net worth. They don't care about his money. When he says something that makes them look bad, they're like, oh no, you can't be our spokesperson anymore because you've offended all of us.
Well, I mean, just to update you, Jade, they've been trying to um, restructure the agreement that they had with him,
Mm.
and they're actually asking him to go back to work with them. So most likely
Oh, really?
Kanye, because Kanye loves the attention of Caucasians, he would most likely go back and work with them, right? So if you notice, he's been awfully quiet of lately, right?
Yeah, he has. He
Yeah,
has.
yeah, that's because he's most likely went back. They're probably restructuring his deal that he had with Adidas, and he will most likely be, back on top.
But I also
But
think
I
that they
hope he
couldn't.
doesn't.
I think, but I also think that they couldn't handle the heat because he exposed a lot.
No, they
He
lost a lot of
was
money.
so,
They lost a lot of money. They lost a lot of
yes,
money.
of course.
So,
So they love green, but they also don't like how he called them out. He was very clear on
well,
his points.
Jade, if you remember, because I've been following his situation with Adidas for the longest, he initially said he wanted to get out of the contract, okay, because it wasn't favorable for him. So in the beginning, he wanted to get out. He wanted them to restructure the contract. He felt that he deserved more, and they said no. So he changed his tactics, and obviously Kanye was very smart. He knew what he was doing. He knew that if he called them out, he said he used the term, I forget. He's gonna go. He went. I forgot how he said it, but he pretty much won, which is smart. And a lot of our people need to become very, very
Mm-hmm.
smart. We need to start becoming a little bit more, not a little bit more, a lot more savvy when it comes to business. We
Mm-hmm.
can't we can't be servants any longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, our ancestors did the serving already. Now it's time for us to reclaim who we are as a people. Okay, but it's important that the enemy likes to utilize words.
Mm-hmm.
Then he likes to restructure our words, our lexicon,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the same time sell it back to us as if they're the ones who came up with it.
Of
Okay,
course.
just
Of
like all
course.
like that they've always done this tactic. So it's time for our people to start waking up. In fact, I think it's time for black people, smart black people who are smart, to start separating yourself from the coons, because it's always the coons. And some of you might know them as boulets, okay, the
Mm-hmm.
gatekeepers to the white world, because there's a lot of black people who really, really want to be equals with white people. They want to be
Mm-hmm.
accepted by them. They want their approval. They want to be accepted by that quote unquote what we say mainstream
Mm-hmm.
media, the
Mm-hmm.
you know yeah, we've got to separate ourselves. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I would like to do is, you remember when I said for everyone to take out a little piece of paper and then to write down the terms?
Mm-hmm.
There's something else that we have to add here, because if we don't keep things within context,
Mm-hmm.
people will say, I hear you, Brother Silverback, but
Mm-hmm.
I still don't get it, or I still don't agree because, that's a black and white issue, or these are just issues, it doesn't really pertain to me. So I want to go back to those words, and I want to bring it back to what we shared in our earlier Narrowcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I know after we're done with the recording, I would like you to insert the link again, because it's important for our listeners to keep things in context. Okay.
When you say
The Willie Lynch
ladder,
letter,
exactly. Mm-hmm.
the Willie Lynch letter at the toward at, I don't have it in front of me, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a section where he talks about the what how we're going to be creating confusion for the hybrid children, the
Mm-hmm.
children that are mixed,
Mm-hmm.
the confusion, the confusion. There's more and more confusion because when we talk about culture, right? Going back to cancel culture, the culture that we had originally before enslavement, they brought the slaves to different parts of the world and wanted to cancel their culture.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately so, you have to become Christian, you have to speak English, you
Mm-hmm.
have to wear these clothes, not those clothes, you have to speak our language.
Mm-hmm.
And this is eventually when they were allowed to go to school because they really weren't allowed to go to school. So they learned English, you know, on the fly. They were not taught English. They just had
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what their master had said. They just
Mm-hmm.
had to figure it out, and they were beaten until they understood what was expected of them. But
Mm-hmm.
cancel culture, that terminology, in its original context, was literally to destroy the dynamics of the the tribes, the tribalism. When I say tribal, meaning your the clan as a whole community
The tribal
working
identity.
together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, their identity, their language, their religion,
Mm-hmm.
canceled their culture. Now you, black man, you, black woman, you, black child, are my property, and you
Mm-hmm.
must do and say as I say. Cancel culture meant that then,
That's deep,
and it
Jade.
still does now. It
That's
still
deep.
does now, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not now. Our chains are invisible.
Mm-hmm.
We
Deep.
walk and think we're free, but in actuality, there's still censorship,
Mm-hmm.
there's still segregation. Every
Mm.
time you fill out an application for a job, don't they want to know who you are?
Mm-hmm.
You're being categorized, and then you're ostracized because it's like, okay, how many blacks are in this corporation? Oh, three? Oh, okay. That's not a mistake.
Yeah, it's not a mistake at
They
all.
don't want they don't want you to be the majority in the office because there's a culture. There's a dynamic. There's a way of thinking and being.
Mm-hmm.
But they want white culture, so that's going to be the predominant culture in the office, the tone, the music, the dress, the attire. And we could go off on clothing itself.
Mm-hmm.
Before we had this narrowcast, I was even thinking about cancel culture with just clothing alone. From a woman's perspective, I can
Mm-hmm.
give you that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
The
so yes, the original cancel culture was to strip us from our cultural identity, heritage, name, home, language, religion. And then here we are in America, and many generations later, people don't know where their original tribes are from. They don't, many African Americans don't even have their original names.
mm.
Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Jones type of people. They
Mm-hmm.
have to try to find the pieces for their culture, for their
Yeah.
heritage. They've done such a amazing job in destroying our culture that we're still on the mends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of any other race that has gone through what we have gone through. We're just trying to hold on to our culture. Now, this terminology, try to make it trendy and cool, is not cool
Mm-hmm.
because now it's censorship. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and also when you say cancel, okay, all right, aren't celebrities going missing?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. There are. I mean, they've always gone missing. They've always they have a strategy on how they delete them. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
but you brought up something very very important, Jade. You're connecting a current word to the past and the tactics that they're using. Now I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
bring it to the future because this
Mm-hmm.
word
Okay.
is strategically placed, and when they speak, they're speaking in code, family. Okay,
That's right.
They're speaking in code. They took our very word because this particular word here, I didn't know, it didn't come up by me. I got this from my sister, our sister Michi X. She's got her own channel, and she was one of the people that actually who noticed the word cancel, right? Not the culture, pretty much cancel, because this is our words. It came from the word. What movie was that? It was the 1 second. What movie was that? It was New Jack City. It was New Jack City when Wesley Snipes. Somebody said he's gonna cancel such and such. No, Reggie says no. I'm gonna cancel him. I'm gonna cancel him.
Mm-hmm.
So that word, if you watch the New Jack City, there's a part where he that word cancel pretty much and it was directed and was written and directed by a brother, okay, Mario Van Beetle. Van Peeble, I should say, Van Beetle, Van Peeble, right? So they're always taking from us. But I want to take this particular word even further, okay? Because their strategy is to bypass the quote unquote constitution that they have in place. They have been the constitution, the law that they have on the books, has been undermined. They've always chipped on it. They've been tripping on that constitution for they've broken listen, it's not just it's based on this experience that took place, as you can see for yourself. This brother who was killed on the train, Jordan Neely. Okay? The person who killed him, they're making a hero out of him. They're saying all the nice things. A veteran, Marine veteran, right? Instead of saying a killer, because if he was a murderer,
people
in
public.
Yeah. So family, if you haven't noticed, we are actually already in a race war. If you don't know that, I'm here to tell you we are in a race war. Okay? So if you don't know, you need to wake up and you need to move accordingly. Because if you don't know, I don't need to tell you on this particular broadcast, I should say narrowcast for specific people. I don't need to tell you what to do to defend yourself. You should use your own imagination. If you don't know, then you sit and duck. Okay? I'm sorry to say you're gonna be a victim. You're gonna be like a wounded animal walking in the plain field in the jungle. Okay? Not knowing what to do. You gotta be wise when it comes to these entities. They are not your friends. They never were your friends. They were never your friends to your ancestors. They will never be your friend. Okay? So
now the thing is that people who are victims of this, and I'm going to say victims, if in just in the defense of those who don't understand these terminologies, because these are big words. We've been experiencing these, but just couldn't put our finger on it, and so it is very important for us to, now, as we're listening to the Narrowcast, to read and to find out what we're saying. This is not about us saying, oh, we hate a certain race. There is, in effect, with the use of media, with the enforcement of laws, with how they're managing the curricula in schools, with the silencing of teachers who said, "Hey, this lesson is inappropriate. I don't want to teach this," but they have to abide by the DOE mandates, right? Or lose their jobs. Some of them have gone to jail fighting over issues. And then also too at your job, or if you're in a social media influencer, or even posting on YouTube, cancel culture can happen to you immediately if you start using phrases and terms and it starts getting flagged. And all you are is just addressing real issues, but somehow there's going to be some silencing. Someone is just going to try to shut you down. And so, family, what we're saying is this is very real. And people are not only just being silenced, but they can also be murdered. And we
Yes.
have to be aware of what is actually happening to your rights, and in how you need to defend your culture and also protect yourself, also intentionally um trying to be aware that this cancel culture is very dangerous.
Yeah.
It's not just a theory, it's not just an issue, it's not just a perspective. It's actually an effect. And if you saw what Kanye was going through, yeah, it's the marketing and products, and people drop people all the time, but you can see in real time how he went from making a statement to now let's drag him through the mud, let's drop him from all of his deals, let's ostracize him, let's and it's them versus him. And he's like, but wait a minute, you guys are contradicting yourself, because you guys can get away with it with your scripts and your movies. You can depict a black man always as a pimp, or like a drug dealer, in your movies. But if I called out a Jew for being crooked, then now I'm the bad guy, you
Hmm.
know and
Yeah.
so it's like, when the shoe is on the other foot, they can excuse themselves, whites included, the Jews, excuse themselves for the things that they've said and done. But if a black man or woman is calling out, or is so-called woke, then all of a sudden it's like they're the racists, they're the bad guys, they're the ones that need to be canceled because they said something out of turn.
Right.
And it's more of that, you know, um, yanking of the chain. You know, you need to be quiet, as if you own me. You need to be quiet. But we cannot tell them what they've said is inappropriate. And just like you said, Silverback, the depiction in media, how this military guy, this Marine, is the hero. Now they've defined and okayed in public killing.
Yeah.
They've decorated him, and they've released him. The man was released in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And he professionally killed the man. Like, he knew exactly that this was a death choke.
Hmm.
He knew that it was more than, it wasn't an accident. He held him down. He knew how long it was going to take. He was trained to kill. It's not an accident.
Hmm.
And it wasn't self-defense, because he was more than equipped to protect himself.
Yeah.
And I can understand if this homeless man was waving a gun and they took him down. But they said he was throwing garbage. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, as soon as you pull into the next stop, you get off. It's nonsense. This is what I called knuckleheadedness. Like, he was
Yeah.
throwing garbage.
Yeah, family. This is what we do in New York. Everybody knows how everybody's in New York. Everybody's cynical. Everybody's abrasive. Arrogant. New York City. New York City. New York is arrogant. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
what this person is talking about is it's stupid. Okay, we are our abrasive people. We talk loud. You know what I mean. It's like it's crowded. You know what I mean. People,
Yeah.
we know how to
People,
how we know how
yeah,
to
people at the
move.
most will roll their eyes
Yeah,
and be like, oh, please.
you know what I mean. So this person is, what they're trying to sell to the rest of the nation, whole the world, is a deception. But it's a game that they're playing. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not gonna end well for these people. It's not gonna end well. But anyway, Jade, let me finish what I was trying to connect. I was connecting
Sure.
how
Yes.
you connected this word with what the letter from
The Willie Lynch letter.
Willie Lynch letter. Okay, now I'm gonna bring it to the future. Okay, I'm gonna bring
Yes.
you to the future. This particular word, not only is it a tactic that they're using to introduce. They're gonna introduce what they showed you in their movie. There's a specific movie that a famous actor played in. Okay, let me see if you remember this, Jade. Let me see if you can catch it. It was a movie where they were able to catch killers, criminals before they commit the crime. Do you remember that movie?
To catch kill is it to catch killers before they commit the crime? Um it's not I almost got away with it, right?
No, it's a movie.
A movie.
It came out in
Mm,
2002. It was directed
2002.
it was directed by Steven Spielberg. It's a science fiction movie written by Philip K. Dick. I know somebody right now is like, oh, I know that movie, I know that movie.
2002 movie. Give me a minute. Mm, I need some more clues.
Okay, it was
It's not Fatal Attraction, is it?
no, that's not it's a science fiction movie. That was a drama or something.
Hmm. Let's see.
It's a is an action detective thriller set in Washington D.C. in 2054, where police utilize a psychic technology to arrest and convict murderers before they commit their crime. All right, I'm gonna give you another clue. I'm gonna give you the lead actor in the movie. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, more clues. Yes.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Mm, mm, mm. Hmm. Is it Tom Cruise Minority Report?
There you go, woman. There
Is
you
it? Oh,
go.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise plays the head of this prime. It's called pre-crime unit. Okay,
Okay.
is himself accused of a future murder of a man he hasn't even met. Yeah, so basically, they're going to introduce a way to dictate. They're going to become what you call thought,
Oh,
thought,
oh,
thought,
oh.
thought police. Okay,
Uh-huh.
this is what they want to do. They don't want you to use your own brain. They want to be able to cancel people out of the system. Okay, there's another movie it's called Total Recall,
Oh my
where they were
God.
able to delete people. Okay, delete you out of their digital
You know what?
system.
It's interesting that you said that because I just watched
Mm,
on YouTube last night.
mm-hmm,
This is more of my nerd research.
mm-hmm,
That they have an AI um ability, and this is for therapists
mm,
to track the mental behavior and thoughts by what people say
mm-hmm.
and what they're saying by their speech,
Yeah,
whether
predict.
they're at risk, predict if they're
Mm-hmm,
at a risk of killing themselves,
mm-hmm,
suicidal,
mm-hmm,
or the type that could go out and kill others.
mm-hmm. Of course.
They have the capability now, based on what you've said, how you speak,
Mm-hmm,
everything that poses a red flag to say this person needs intervention before they kill himself or
mm-hmm.
hurt others. So,
Yes.
where a therapist or a psychiatrist would take months and years to psychoanalyze a person and see a pattern of speech and behavior, they're using technology to speed it up and say this person's at risk, high risk, and they flag the person to say, person or persons, to do intervention. Now, of course, they didn't say what, but the show, it was to flag teenagers before they hurt themselves in school because of how they're going about getting a gun and coming back and shooting in the schools. So they're focusing on the teens right now with this technology, so they can screen out which of the teens are high risk of suicide and or murder.
Of course.
So it's interesting how this is coming full circle, and we've kind of digressed from the cancel culture, but in terms of like reining in on um selecting people and calling them out and then canceling them, I can see how this is all somehow connected and dangerous.
Of course.
Because if they can use the technology to try to, figure out, by what you're saying, that you might be the type that might be anarchist, or someone who is going to be a revolutionary leader. I'm using like old phrases, but I don't have like the hip term for it. Um, but like someone who's going to go and be a protester, then they're like, oh, this is a person to look out for because they mean business. They're not just hurling rhetoric. They are out, and they may potentially mobilize a group, like the Proud Boys, for example. Like, these people are not just all talk. They actually go out and terrorize in groups.
Jedi, let me tell you something. These tactics are not new. They've studied you. They've studied our ancestors. These entities are looking to, again, it's oppression. They're looking to have total control over your body. Okay? Their father and their legion, these are entities. They may look like human, but they're not. Okay? So we're dealing with beings that comes across as if they are human beings, but they are not. And our people are going to have to find out. They're going to find this. They're going to find this. They're going to find out in a hard way. Okay? My people perish for the lack of knowledge. Okay? They perish because they are ignorant. Most of our people are just outright ignorant. And then there is that other demographic that's outright wicked. That they were wicked from the day one. They were wicked from the beginning. Okay? There's that percentage of Negroes that look like you and me that are just outright wicked, who hate the Father. Now, I'm going to show you something, Jade. Remember when, and this is a good opportunity, this is a lesson for many of you. Jade, remember when this entity ran for office right here in New York City? And what did I tell you about this entity?
He was a puppet.
Yes, I said he was gonna what? He's gonna what? He's gonna become, right? He's gonna win, right? Remember? I say he was gonna win, and that he's a puppet for what? He's not for the elite. He's not. He will absolutely do nothing for us. The enemy likes to use certain Negroes who volunteer themselves, who these entities, these Negroes, they hate you. Anytime you see a black person representing white people, that's a person you should run away from. This person has no power whatsoever, absolutely nothing. He will never offer anything in his term. What he's going to do is what he's been told to do. Degenerate.
Yeah, and because we also, what we're seeing more and more in terms of transparency. I know in my youth I couldn't stand listening to politics and news because it just sounded like noise. And it's still noisy. It's very much noisy. But as an adult, I've come to realize that, the people that are shouting the loudest behind them are organizations that have paid them thousands of dollars to be their spokesperson.
Millions.
So yes, millions, sorry. Yes, millions of dollars. And so when they hold their seat in Congress, or they hold their seat, whether it's on a state level where you're like a city councilman or something, like on a local level, they all represent different corporations that are not in public view, saying, we put you here, we paid you, you represent us, so get out there and continue to do what we say. So there's, yes, as civilians, we have voted for people we thought were good candidates. And we look at them and say, oh, I can relate to, you know, Nydia Vasquez, I'm a Latina. Or I can relate to, such and so because I'm Italian and I live in Long Island. Or I can relate to such and so, you know, Schumer because I'm a Jew. Innocently, we are looking for leaders that will represent our community. But what we don't know as citizens is the flip side of who they represent. Because we want representation, but we don't know who they represent on the other side behind closed doors. Who funded you? Who who are your funders? And because they have corporations and donors and millionaires, people who have self-interest, this that has been voted into office has a duty to appease and please those who've put money in their pockets. So, yes, we're hoping that they're going to do good for the people, but in actuality, they were hired and positioned. And unfortunate to say, even Barack Obama too, it has these funders that they have to abide by, or else, and then we'll leave it blank, or else, or else. So cancel culture is a deadly situation if you speak out of turn. But individually, for the blacks, black people, people of color, we have been experiencing this for a long time, and it was subliminal, but now it's more it's in our face. And if we remain ignorant, we will fail. Well, we'll miss it. We're suffering and don't realize it. And I'm going to give a little example. Okay. When I was a child, and I shared this with Silverback, I was given a Barbie doll. I mentioned this before in one of the Narrowcasts. And that doll messed with me. You handed that doll to me. And it wasn't like I was, as a child, thinking racially, but it became a racial thing when it was given to me because, first of all, the doll was more expensive than all the other dolls I had. B, the figure of this doll is unrealistic. As a black woman, I will never have a size 4 waist, ever. Okay? Two, I wasn't a blonde, blue-eyed child. Three, this doll has never worked. Everything she has, everything, mansions, cars, limos, camping vans. She had boyfriends, she had girls, like friends, like she had it all. This doll was an empire that really promoted the elite rich. This doll was, look at me. I am rich. I am everything you will never be. And then you hand it to a black child and you're like, wow, wow, she doesn't look like me. And am I supposed to drool over her richness? Like, because of this doll, I actually grew up hating the color pink. for what it represented. Like it's typecasting girls as all girls need to be cute and dainty and quiet and wear pink. All girls need to be wearing dresses. I'm like, no, I'm the girl who wore pants because it's cold outside. I love purple, not pink. I love the color black. You can't tell me how I should think and feel as a girl. Don't try to impress that upon me. Just like when you hand me the doll, don't tell me that this is what success looks like. This is what a woman should be like. This is what you will never be, black girl. I destroyed the doll. I took her apart. I hated her. I did not glamorize, I did not drool over, I didn't fantasize, I didn't want to be her because she wasn't realistic, she wasn't real. But there are people out there that live like I have everything at my disposal and I'm rich and I'm glamorous and you know, to hell with you all, you poor people, right? Yeah, but as a child, I'm not thinking about, I wasn't thinking about that until you see the world of Barbie and it's like her with her jets and her this and that and it has nothing to do with uh her success. She didn't earn it, she just had it. And so, and then as a child you're like, well, where are the dolls that look like me? Where am I being represented? And then fast forward to the 80s, they came out with these dolls, the Bratz dolls. And people were offended by them because they had these giant lips, bubble lips, and they had the bubble butts, and they were just plump in all the curvy places. And it's like, is this what you think we look like? But yet they had every race, but it was like overly exaggerated, too much makeup, you know. And it's like, is this what a black doll looks like? And we're still yet trying to find our identity. And marketing wise, they have ways to mess with children's minds. So you take the doll and they say, this is what you think we look like. This is what, this is what you have to play with. And I said, you know what? I couldn't understand it. All I know is that it was offensive. And so cancel culture from a child's perspective can be something as simple as the toys that you give them. So I know it sounds like it's a stretch. It's like, oh, yeah, no, if you don't like the doll, just play with another one. Yeah, but subliminally, it has a message of this is, especially with girls, this is the depiction of beauty. You're trying to define beauty. This is what is beautiful. So what happens when you grow up? I want long hair. Why can't my hair grow like hers? Why do I have to have kinky hair? And this is the talk that leads into why they invented perms. Why do they invent hair extensions? Because there's this desire to look like someone else that you weren't born with that hair. And so again, you started young, then there's this jealousy that is somehow woven in there where you're combing long, luxurious, silky hair, and then when you go to get your hair done, you're yanking it out with combs, and you're just like, well, why can't I have that? Why can't I be more like that? And for on a much serious note, where girls will starve themselves to try to lose weight to look like what they see on TV, what they see in the movies, these models. And so cancel culture from a child's perspective can start just there. What is beauty? What is success? And then what they do to themselves to try to match what they see. And so when I started studying and doing research about cancel culture, these were my initial thoughts and reflections of how it has affected me. But in society as a whole, as a parent, seeing cancel culture in the schools is a very dangerous thing when these corporations, these entities, these unknown people are now the authority of what people can say, what they can teach, what the children should learn in schools. And then if you're in the workplace or whatever, oh, now you're going to get fired because you had an opinion. An opinion. What happened to, oh, I get what you're saying, but I disagree. I agree to disagree. Remember that? Like, why does it have to go as far as now this person is going to get fired? You know? And
Yeah.
people who write books, they can lose their whole publishing. Like all the work that they've done, it's just we're just pulling the plug. Sorry, we don't want to comment. What happened? What happened? This is very serious because we do have ideologies, we do have rights, but as a people, kid you not, it goes beyond just saying the wrong thing. Someone has positioned themselves to be the authority over you again, again. But now it's much more obvious because they've coined the phrase. But then who's that? Who are they, right? You know, and
Yeah.
it's not just an opinion. It's a moving force of where you're going to be silenced yet again. You know, it's like, yes, you people have these thoughts, but we want to like, let's make it political. We're putting this in place in the schools, using the schools as an example, because we want to please these parties. These parties don't have children and they're not at my school, so why does this apply? Why? Why? I'm the parent. I have the right to teach what my child, that's a private conversation. This intimate talk of sleeping with who is such and so. You know, that leave that up to the families.
Yeah.
But now they want to make it law, saying this is what they have to teach, and they have to, walk that narrow line of trying to appease the unknowns. And then the children are like politically dragged into this mess, and all they need to know is how to read and write, you know,
Yeah.
not defend all these other parties for what they choose to do as adults in behind closed doors, you know.
Yeah. Well, family, a system, this is a system that is coming to an end. And then you're starting to see the oppression, and it's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. Okay. For some who rely on the system, okay, we've been warned in so many ways. They warned you through their movies. Okay. We had our, remember Eric Blair, you know, he wrote 1984, right? 1984.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they call it George Orwell. His name is George Orwell, right? But his
Yes.
real name is Eric Blair, right? He warned Big Brother. He gave you, he gave you all the warnings, you know. So we've been warned in so many ways. This is what we're talking about. Yes, we're using the word cancel culture. We're just using cancel culture as an indicator, a reference point. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is a reference point. It's like a signpost. All right? So this is an indicator of what is to come. It is up to you, family, to investigate, all right, to be alert, to evolve. It's up to you to evolve and to understand the language that the enemy is using through their media. Because you notice all of their media, when they kill this young man, that's another signpost, by the way. That this young man dying, that's a signpost showing you of what's to come. Because these tactics, some people have been asleep, so you didn't know. Some people didn't know. But for people like me, these tactics are old, very, very old. Okay? I can remember sitting down when I was young, very young. I can sitting down watching TV and their news broadcast would enrage me. Their movies would enrage me. Okay? It's like what James that gay writer, what's his name again? James um he had big eyes, right? Big eyes, James
And James, a writer
James.
with big eyes.
Yeah, African American writer. James.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, James.
I know who you're talking about. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the writer. So and he said living in America is like it's to be angry. It's like to be angry every day. You know, it's like you be enraged. James Baldwin,
Yes, James
okay?
Baldwin.
James Baldwin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that. This country enrages you. There are times you wake up, you'll be enraged because the injustice is like so. It's like mist. You know, it's like oh yeah yeah.
And you know why else it is troubling too
Mm,
is because there's this secret jealousy and there's a love-hate relationship that they don't want to admit. And it's like instead of embracing the love, they choose hate. And when I say love hate, okay, because this was our discussion before we planned this narrowcast. When we talk about whitewashing and we talk about appropriation, which we didn't talk use that word much at all,
mm.
there is this fascination for our music. There's a fascination for the ideas that we come up with because we know that most of the inventions created in the world was created by blacks, by us. But then they
I would say all of the inventions, all of
yes,
it.
but they would steal the idea, put a copyright on it, patent it, make it law, and say, "See, we came up with it first."
Mm.
Maybe the black person said, "Look what I did," but they didn't bring it through the whole process of getting the paperwork, and someone just ran away with the idea and stole it.
Yeah, the
And
system.
so there's been a lot of stealing and sampling of our music, a lot of stealing in terms of dance, you know, like, we all know that some of the dances that we see today, even when you watch TikTok, it came from someone,
Of
because
course.
when it trends, it's like everyone's copying somebody, right? But but whoever gets the most views is getting paid for the viewership, but they weren't the original choreographer, and so the unfortunate thing about our culture is that they praise the people who've stolen the concept, the idea, and the content, and never give or pay homage to the one who invented it, created it, designed it, or whatever. and
Yeah.
we took some time in researching some of these things, but like back in the 50s and the 60s, even Elvis with his song Hound Dog,
Mm.
we if you look at some of the origins of some of the songs that were sung, they were originally written by a black person, and it's but he was the one who became famous, and that person, was like an unknown author,
He
an
was
unknown writer.
he was made famous. He was made famous.
Yes, he was made famous by someone else's work. And so we are familiar with in the 50s, 60s, 70s, the whitewashing and with music was really theft, but they have gotten all of the credits because it became a movement of, oh, we like this song, it's really catchy, and then they promote and market and they tour and they go about it, and people just buy the albums and not knowing the origins of the song was actually stolen, and it's very disturbing. If for those who want to take the time to research it, look up some of the songs that were stolen, um by Elvis Presley, some of the songs that were stolen from Led Zeppelin, for example. you know um and there's so many others, like even when I was doing my research, Betty Boop, the character, it's just a cartoon character, but the original voice was a depiction of a jazz singer from Harlem, and she had the entire persona. Her whole persona was stolen. Her
Mm-hmm.
voice, her mannerisms, and then it was personified in the cartoon character. And then the cartoon character is like, oh, she is so adorable. She's actually one of my favorite old time characters. She's so cute. Betty Boop is so adorable. But the whole persona was stolen from a black woman. And it's
Yeah.
like, but wait a minute, you know, who people didn't know the backstory. Where did this concept come from? And so we have a lot of that going on, and people are making millions of dollars off of songs, off of music, off of dance and styles, like bringing it up to current. You know, would Iggy Azalea be as famous as she was if she wasn't doing her personified black thing? You
Mm-hmm.
know, where she's trying to sound black. This girl, she's from Australia, straight up white girl from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what she did was like so um so different for her culture, you know. She
But
literally became famous by stepping out of her zone and be like, "No, I want to do something different." She got all the views and attention because she was doing that her slang, doing her thing. And it worked for her, but she herself, this is what we call appropriation, used that tactic to get rich,
mm-hmm.
you know
Oh,
pout your lips and try to shake your twerk, a white girl
yeah.
twerking, you know
Unf-
and
unfortunately,
and 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 they use this to make money. So they love our culture. They like to extract and take it as theirs, and then at the same time hate us and say we're like, they're going to say that um we're like I don't even like to fill in the blanks, but just basically making it, shining us in a bad light, saying that we have nothing more to offer than music, you know.
yeah. But Jade, we are also the ones to blame, Jade, because there's always a happy Negro willing to sell the people short. Okay, and I guess this is where we go to point 3 of this topic: how to keep Black culture authentic. Okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
where we're gonna switch and pretty much finalize this this narrowcast. It's important for Black people to create system because the problem here, Jade, is the enemy always, in order for them to appropriate, they have to be the ones who are financing, and if they're financing, they're going to dictate how, what the, they dictate the narrative. Okay,
Yes.
so because they're financing, if you look at it every time they would come into our culture, they will make fun whatever we are doing. Okay, it's only when they're starting to finance it, when they get in there and they dictate, okay, then it's acceptable for them. We have to be able to create a system, okay? Because when they come in and they finance it, they are the ones who now they're able to appropriate. They're able to
Mm-hmm.
redefine, okay? They can define a particular culture. That's the problem. You see?
Yeah.
They've
And that
always,
and that's the part of what they call his story.
Mm-hmm.
his story
Yeah.
is because they want to narrate what is happening today. As long as they put it down on paper, they say this is the truth because we said it. It was said on such and such date.
Mm-hmm.
We coined it, we phrased it,
Mm-hmm.
therefore it we call it into being.
Mm-hmm.
Like how the spin on, God says, let there be light, and it
Mm-hmm.
existed. Now in our society with the whitewashing, it says we phrased this, we coined this phrase, it's been patented, copyrighted and approved. We own this. And they
Exactly.
did this when they came to America. We
Mm-hmm.
own this land because we, set laws in place. It's like you just straight up stole the land
You straight up
and just
killed
made
killed.
laws and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then just took over and then say you discovered America. It's more of the same. It just has new terminology, but it's all the same. They want to own what wasn't theirs. They want to phrase and make it cool and write it in on paper, make it a law, and say now because we are holding this piece of paper, we own this. We own this phrase, we own this land, own this terminology. It's like they create it and say that it is to be, and everybody must abide by that rule.
Yeah. That's what it is, family. So the whole goal is you don't have to get out of this system. You can't be a part of this system and make demands. Okay? You just can't. You have to be able to create your own system so you can redefine. We have to go back and redefine our culture. We have to go back and rewrite our history as a people. All right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to go back and reclaim our spirituality. Okay? It's from the beginning. The Bible the Bible is based on a location of a people on a continent of Africa. It's not based on the people in Europe. There was nothing in Europe. Okay? Everything that Europe has came from Africa. There was nothing in Europe. So if you know your history, the foundation of all the European nations were Africans. Okay? One of that, not what they're teaching you in their schools. So if you want to do a little research, if you go out of your way and find out the kingdoms, okay, those first kings and queens of these nations out in Europe, you're going to find out real quick that it was us. It was appropriated eventually, okay? So if you do your research, you'll know that we've always been used, and some of our people willingly participated and are continuously participating in the eradication, the displacement, the lies about the African man and child
Mm.
and woman. All right, so we have to reclaim our identity. So Jade,
Yeah.
you hit on the nail when you connected the cancel culture with that letter, with the Willie Lynch
Mm-hmm.
letter. Very, very true. Because that's what they did. In order for them to redefine us, who we are as a people, they needed to strip us,
Yeah.
strip our identity.
And
All
then
right.
and then artistically, I mean, this is what musicians go through all the time,
Mm,
and designers, their ideas are extracted, stolen, patented, reproduced on a faster, bigger scale, and you're like left in the dust.
mm,
And unfortunate for when this happened, like, I had mentioned to it before, like just in terms of the music icon, Chuck Berry, some of his songs that were flat out stolen and reproduced right before our eyes, the Beach Boys, the Beatles, um, Elvis Presley, all of these people have stolen from Chuck Berry. Inspired, wow, they say inspired by. they took his song and did a different spin, and then they got the millions of dollars for the songs reproduced without his consent. And one person who was actually able to stand up for her rights as a Black person, who refused to let her creativity, her voice, her talent be canceled, is Sophia Stewart,
Mm.
the original writer of The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
People, the brothers, what were they called? The what is it the
Owen
the
Brothers?
Wachowski,
Or
the
Wakaski? Okay.
Wachowski brothers
Mm-hmm.
were getting billions of dollars from the movie, and they were being praised as if they were like gurus.
But
And
Jade,
then come to find out that they didn't write it. They stole it from her.
yeah, but Jade, this is just the ones that people know. That these are the ones that you know of. There are so many. Listen, in every industry, we were robbed as a people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? This is just the ones that were the people were courageous enough, right? The persons who were courageous enough to go after their intellectual property.
Yes,
But
yes.
they, but
And so
they,
I'm just bringing light to it because,
mm-hmm,
we don't have to be a victim.
mm-hmm,
If she and we're gonna put the link below because I want people to read this article of how she fought and she held on for years,
mm-hmm,
demanding and exposing the truth behind the authorship of the script, the screenplay, the book, and the movie, that she is the original author, and she was able to take them down. So, the article, it came out in 2021, and it's, like a short read, but I want our readers to see, yes, it is possible for us to fight, but like you said, systems, but not to be intimidated, because, there's always hush monies. There's people who will cut you a deal saying, oh, we like your idea, we'll give you this, and then there's a settlement. But there are others that are just straight up, they stole it, and it's like, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, we took it, and it's like it's like you versus a corporation, and then you're like the little man who can't even afford a lawyer, and how are you going to fight them? They stole your idea.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, in terms of systems, yeah, there needs to be more and more people exposing the truth. When smell a rat and you see a rat, call it what it is. And you have to expose it and say, no, such and so wrote it, such and so, designed it. You have to stand up for your rights, or else they'll continue to railroad all of us. And like you said, I think even you, Silverback, you said when you used to work in marketing, they used to do this in corporate America with you, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I was given the opportunity to lead and create a system that I created a system that actually start to make the company money. And then the guy who hired me, who was the national director, after he initially told me what to do, and I was like, hey, listen, this is a new market. He hired me because I had experience in working in the New York market for businesses that wanted to start, to penetrate the New York market. So most companies, when they start out with a brand, they usually go to the Midwest, and Ohio is one of those uh, demographic that they would start the experiment of a product. Okay, research and development would start in the Midwest, and in the last market that they would actually eventually try to break through would be the New York market, which is the toughest market. Everybody in the business world knows this. New York is a tough market. So I've worked with a lot of companies that were would start out in the New York, they would eventually come to the New York market. And I would always usually be in in the teams where, they would, they put a team together and we would penetrate the market the best way we know as salespeople, as marketers. And when I happened to work with this company, it was in the energy industry. As soon as I became successful, the guy went out, he had a tactic. He went ahead and hired someone else. He hired an Asian guy to take over my department.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what they do. This is the things that they do. They use us. They use a blackface, and I'm tired and I'm done. Okay. So when I tell you, family, that I'm an expert about these Caucasians, I'm telling you the truth. I know these people and I know how they're wired. Okay. The reason the black men and the black women, they use economical oppression to starve us out. So that whenever we go to them to do business or to work for them, most often, is we don't counter when they give us an offer. We don't counter and say, hey, listen, this is what I want based on the industry, based on the market rates. This is what I want. We don't usually do that. Okay, I know this because I was in a position where I hired people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most often, most of these white people, they would always counter, no matter what was the offer. All right, and when I refused, I noticed my national director would say, hey, okay, yeah, let's work out, and he would select white folks. Because this is how they work. This is how they work. They favor their people, and whenever I try to pull the hammer down, he was not comfortable. They don't want you. They don't like. This is why they always put a white face to be in charge. Okay? This is just the way it is. We have to create our own systems, family. And when I say create our own systems, I'm talking about create your own businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses, corporations they're the ones who run this world. Okay? Business owners run the world. Business owners influence the politicians. The politicians are just puppets, front men and front women. All right, family? And that's another topic that we're going to discuss about
Yeah,
businesses.
so it's very important to know your rights and protect your rights. So
Yeah.
it's like, saying, how they say mind your business. Yeah, you need to mind your business. You need to be
Yeah.
aware of your rights and protect them.
Yeah.
And then if anyone or anything infringes upon it, you have to protect it. But, again, cancel culture, going back to it, is really to silence us, but they have a weird love-hate relationship where they want to extract and take and capitalize, monetize, and then censor us at the same time. It's like, so there's so many ways that we're being used and shunned and silenced, but there's nothing cool about this trendy word, cancel culture. It really is another tactic to control and dictate what the narrative again of what's right. Who made you the authority of everyone? How are you supposed to now somehow define what we can or cannot say? Who are you? And this is going to be a law. This is what it is. They're trying to say and dictate and narrate what you can and cannot say in public. And that's the deadly um that paradox behind that whole thing. This is not just about, ooh, when we're kids, ooh, what you said. It's not even on a thrill level of 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 saying something that is a shocking quote. It's you're not allowed to say those things, and because you have, these are your consequences. Where did this come from? you know. And what's amazing is that there's a lot of people who, um, and it's hard not to mention his name, that can make wild accusations. Our former president can say everything under the sun, and you can't shut him up. Talk about cancel culture. It's like
Jade,
he can say it, he can get away with it. But if
Jade,
anyone ever dared
Jade,
to be as emblazoned and bold as him, they
Jade,
wouldn't be alive at this point.
Jade,
Yes,
Jade, Jade.
sorry. It's
And
true.
family, I know some of you people don't like this guy, this president. What do you call him again? Trump. Okay? Most people don't like Trump because based on the things he has said. Donald Trump has not written any legislation that has been detrimental to black people. Okay? This president, Joe Biden, wrote the 1994 crime bill that had put a lot of black people in prison. Many families were broken up because of this guy. He's this racist. Now, Donald Trump may be racist in speech, but he has not been racist in legislation.
Okay.
Understand?
So yes, what's happening behind closed doors is just
Yeah.
as wicked as what's happening in front of your face. But my
Yeah.
point is in terms of rhetoric and speech and silencing. When I'm
Mm-hmm.
say silencing, meaning verbally talking,
And I don't like
you
Donald
know,
Trump. I don't
it,
like Donald Trump. I don't like no
yeah,
politician.
yeah, but I'm saying it's like nobody can ever get away with making such rhetorics and wild remarks for years and years and years. If a black man did that, he would have been taken down already. He would have
Yeah.
been shot already.
Yeah, I
But
know. Cat
when the
whistles.
shoe is on the other foot, they can get away with it. They're like, oh, he's just being himself.
Yeah, but
No
Jade,
one else can do this.
Jade, your
It's
president.
not like people are pulling the plug on his deals.
Yeah, but Jade, your President Obama had the opportunity to use his power as a president. He had the office to open his mouth and say, hey, listen, a lot of black people are being killed under my watch, and I would not tolerate this. He never did. Instead, he went and wrote some law about in support in gay rights and gay marriages and all that nonsense.
Yeah, well, like you said, there are puppets, and
Yes, they're
they're
all
in different
puppets.
positions.
They're all
They're all
puppets.
puppets. There are puppets.
But
And at the
more,
end of the day, as long as they get paid enough, they'll do whatever they need to do to stay comfortable.
yeah,
And
but
it's very unfortunate in politics today that it's really about money and not about caring for the nation,
see, families,
for the people.
family, you see how we are in disagreement, family. You see this? You see what's
Listen,
happening? You see how she silenced me, family? She's silencing me.
I'm not trying to silence you.
Now
I'm
you
just saying,
you're canceling
I'm saying
you
wickedness can.
now
No, I'm
you're
not.
cancel culturing me right now.
Not true. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying wickedness can, sometimes greed is the motivation, and that's it. As long as they're comfortable, they're going to do it. But,
Yeah,
you know,
they're all
let's
wicked.
stick to our topic.
They're
Yes,
all
they're
wicked.
wicked. They're all wicked. When they
Yeah,
love green, there's there's evilness that comes out. So
yeah. So on a serious note,
they're
family.
willing to sell people out for anything.
On a serious note, family. It's important that you build business because you see, in Washington D.C., some of you may know this, and some of you may not know this. But the politicians are influenced on a daily basis and they are influenced by money. Okay? There are people who work between businesses and your congressional leaders. Okay? These people are called lobbyists. Lobbyists bring a lot of money. They donate a lot of money to these offices of these congressmen and congresswomen, the people that write your laws. Okay, they influence them by donating a lot of money, and the pharmaceutical companies, our industry, I would say, is one of the major contributors at your government offices. your congressmen and congresswomen. They give them a lot of money to influence them. For me, I call that bribery, conflict of interest, if you ask me. Okay? But it's, and a lot of our people don't know this. Okay? You go out there and vote every year. Every 4 years, a politician come up to you and, oh, vote for me, president. Yeah, but you don't really know the system that well, family. You got to understand this. A lot of black people vote Democratic, the Democratic voters. Okay? The Democratic Party was a racist party in the 40s and 50s and 60s. The Republican Party was started by black people. Okay? This is why it's a conservative party. It's very conservative. Okay? But those Democrats, those liberals that Malcolm X even warned you people many, many years ago, they'll smile in your face, okay? And then they'll talk about you in the media in a different way. We got to get a little bit more savvy, family. We got to become a little bit more savvy. All right? So this is a one way for us as a people. We've got to become savvy very fast. Not today, not yesterday, like right away. Because there's language that they use. Okay? This cancel culture is a language. It's a language. If Yissayahkongo said, the devil is what? He's a father.
A liar.
A liar, father of lies, right? And he speaks
but
a
it's
language.
It's language. But it's language with legislature.
Yes.
That's what it is. This
Yes.
is not just an opinion. You know, using that phrase of like, oh, snap was like this cute little cool word. And then snap became the replacement word for food stamps. It's like, oh, snap is now snap. Like, oh, let's make this cool. And this is to attract the poor communities. Oh, snap. And it's like almost tongue-in-cheek humor on us. On us. Here's your word and here's your food stamps. You know, and just make it a little cool. It sounds a little cooler. I don't know what's more demeaning. Food stamps or snap. You know?
I'm gonna snap on you. I'm gonna snap on you.
I'm gonna snap on you those days.
You know what's funny?
It's such a cute word though.
Yeah, but you know what's funny, Jade? We're talking about words. The other day, Mama Bantu and I, we were recording. In the recording, it was just so in this particular recording, it got me so angry because you were talking about Jordan Neely, you know. So, but the beginning of the Narrowcast, it was really great because we were getting into certain words that we grew up using. You know, she told me some of the words, our lexicon, the words, black people's invention. Okay, our ways, our culture dictates. Our culture is loved, respected by everyone around the world. Okay, black culture, as our brothers and sisters in the hip hop industry say, they say our culture influences the whole world. You know, it's true.
It does.
You know, and as influencers of the world, we have to learn to write our own narratives. Okay? And when I say write our own narratives, we have to rewrite our history. We have to respect ourselves enough to say enough is enough. We now have to keep people, intruders, right? We have to tax them. We have to make them pay to come into our culture, because our cultures are systems that we can use against our enemy, okay? Because they usually come, right, infiltrate our culture and then restructure it where it would go against us. We gotta stop that. This has gotta be enough is
Yeah.
enough.
Hmm. And it's important to keep a paper trail too, because just complaining about things doesn't necessarily mean you're not fighting. You have to have it in writing, and you have
Mm,
to make it known publicly. Like
yeah.
this, if such and so stole something from you, it
Yeah.
needs to become public. It needs to be known, and they need to be ratted out. It needs to be exposed, because what's done in darkness must come to light. We can't just be voicing it and complaining about it. There are other, surprisingly, it's not a surprise, but like in the music industry, there's so many musicians that have been, if they're under a contract, silenced. But if it keeps happening to many, they say, you know what? This is something that is happening, and we need to expose it. We need to shed some light on this darkness, because it is cancel culture within the music industry. It happens in fashion. It happens with inventors. People who come up with even cures. Oh, that's a whole nother story. There's been even even people who come up with natural cures have been canceled,
Hmm.
because big pharma wants you to buy drugs and not go for herbal remedies that you can grow in your garden.
Yeah, they use trademark. They created us again.
Yes.
They created a system that would exclude you, that
Yes.
forces you to say it's not a cure.
Yes.
Right?
Force you
This.
to say, and to discredit you
Mm-hmm.
and or kill you if you find the cure for cancer, for example. If you
Mm-hmm.
find the cure for diabetes and say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, these herbs, you just need these herbs.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like, no, you need that insulin. You need to take these pills.
Yeah.
We there's all the industries are gonna jump down your throat
Yeah. They
for
have
something that is healthy for you.
they have a specific word. They say treatment. This treats
Mm,
this. This treats that. They don't want you to say cure. See, they
mm,
have they've taken the power of natural remedies. Okay, they've taken that power away from it by saying, "Oh yeah, you're gonna get you can treat that." They only want you to use the word treat. It doesn't cure. It says treat.
mm, mm,
Okay, this
mm,
treatment
mm, mm,
because they don't want the people to they don't want people to understand that there is a finality when it comes to a sickness, any kind of disease. They don't want they want people to come to them forever. Okay,
mm,
to be treated by their medications. They don't want you to. They don't want the word to be cured of anything.
mm,
Okay, they don't like the word. They don't like cured. They don't like that word. They don't like that word.
mm. Yeah. So we have to seek the truth, and we have to expose the dark, done in the dark. We have to bring it to the light, because there is a truth, there is a narrative, and then there's the opposing force that wants to siphon, to sift, to silence us, to
Mm-hmm.
shun, and as they say it well, cancel us.
Mm,
Cancel culture, the paradox. They want to cancel us. You don't exist. You don't, your words don't matter, but it matters enough for them to monopolize and monetize it.
mm,
Yes. They love having black and brown kids in public school so that they can, get that money. They say, oh, if you get children that are impoverished, there's some government money that and kickbacks you can get per child, right? They
mm,
want that, but once they're in the system, now they're going to dictate what you should teach them. Okay, now that we got you in place and we've made the money, now we're going to mess up your minds. So we got to think about what we're doing and what we're subscribed to, and understand it. It's like, no, you don't have to submit yourself to this. You don't have to allow them to dictate anything. And then, yes, some people think Kanye is a little on the crazy side, and yes, many times he does come across it, but he makes a lot of valid points, and he is the living example of what cancer culture is doing to the black man. He
mm,
stood up for what he said, even to the point of death, because they could have threatened his life.
mm,
Now if he's backtracking and what he's doing behind doors, I don't know. But all I know is that it took guts for him to do what he did, faced
Mm-hmm.
all the backlash in media,
Mm-hmm.
everybody tweeting and everything under his sun, and he's like, "You want to take me now." He's like, "I'm not afraid of you. Go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
take me down,
Mm-hmm.
but let
That's
it be
right.
known you did it."
Yeah.
And that would prove my
Mm-hmm.
point. He
Yeah.
was willing to challenge cancel culture to death. He said, "Oh yeah, so if you kill me, then you would prove that I'm right."
Mm.
And nobody wants to prove him right.
Mm.
He is right about this cancel culture situation. He is right, but they didn't want him to get too much. They didn't want him to expose too much. So there's been some silence, you
Mm.
know. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I do fear that they're gonna get back at him. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I really
Yeah.
do. But at least he stood up for what was right, and
Well.
we in our own way need to be aware of how they're trying to cancel us as a people, and even with religion. It's like I refuse to subscribe and allow my child, our culture, to be canceled in school. I'm sorry. No, I don't identify and agree with your ideology. Don't shove it down my throat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not forcing you to do my religion. I'm going to call it religion. I'm not
Mm.
forcing it. Don't come and shove that down my throat.
Mm-hmm.
And don't penalize my child if she doesn't participate in such and so activities.
Yeah, homosexual
You know?
homosexual ideology.
Yes.
Homosexual lifestyle. They're introducing homosexuality
And
to
confusing the
five
children.
5-year-old kids
Yes.
and telling the kids,
We have drag queens reading books in preschool. What are you
sickness.
doing?
See,
The kids just got here, and
that's
it's like, I know mommy wear makeup, but what's going
yeah.
on over here? They're
It's a
too
pre
young to explain this to them.
yeah. That strategy that they're using is a precursor of what do you call it? Pedophilia. Okay,
Mm.
if we can get these parents, if we can bug break them, okay, and get to their kids to get to their children, now we can feed their kids to these pedophiles. Okay, they have pedophile organizations right now as we speak. Okay, on the books. So they're gonna introduce this sexual lifestyle to your children. And if you say it's okay, guess what? The next step is gonna be, guess what? It's okay for man and boy love. Okay? Man and boy love. These people, they're beyond demonic. Sick,
Yeah.
they're beyond sick. Okay?
So,
So
but in order to defend and protect your rights and intellectual and spiritual rights and understanding, we have to understand the tactics of the devil, of those who follow the devil, and recognize it. When I had mentioned before, you smell a rat, you have to smell the rat. This is
mm,
not about my opinion versus yours. This is not the, oh, but you don't, you're targeting a race. No, we're talking about this movement of
strategy. Mm-hmm.
strategically destroying those who have morals,
Mm-hmm.
those who are innocent. Look, you're born black. It's not an accident. You
Mm-hmm.
are a person. You're human. But someone is trying to call the color, make it about color.
Mm-hmm.
Black is ugly. Black is doo-doo. Black is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Black is inferior. Black
Mm-hmm.
is minority. Fill in the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
Someone coined those phrases, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like, okay, now how do we treat them?
Mm.
They're less. Minority has that word of
Mm-hmm.
less.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with numbers.
It's
If
negative.
we physically, yes, it's negative connotation. Superior versus inferior. minority, right? That word, okay? That's why pink was bothersome to me, because it's like it wasn't a color anymore. It said something more, right? So we have to understand these are the tactics. And then now here's the question. Okay, putting on my glasses again. Take out your little notebook. The question is, how do you cancel culture? So there's an article. I'm not going to read it to you, but I'm going to refer it to you so that you can go and look it up, find it yourself. It's called online. It's called The Conversation, and there's an article entitled just that. Can we cancel culture? Now, I'm encouraging you to do your homework and then think about that. Can you cancel it? And figure it out for yourself. How can you start doing that in your life? Because we have to protect ourselves and our future. And we have to be bold enough to say, that isn't right. I do not subscribe. I do not agree. We do not agree. And we will not be silenced, and we will not be shut out. And yes, we do matter. Our children matter. Our future matters. Because for far too long, if you think about it, and this was why I was a little bit, when we started the Narrowcast, a little concerned about myself, is that I grew up here in America, where history is not really taught properly in schools. And that's done on purpose. Because if we knew our history, then we would be outraged, right? So they just skip over that subject because nobody wants to admit they're wrong. They're just going to say, oh, well, Christopher Columbus, they're going to do all the famous ones. Abraham Lincoln, Christopher Columbus, the Pilgrims. They're going to talk about the Boston Tea Party. They're going to skip over a lot of things that they did to us. They're going to create the narrative that we didn't exist before slavery. And they paint this broad picture that is so backwards. We existed. Oh God, talk about cancel culture. I'm sorry, friends. They knocked the noses off of the sphinxes. Talk about cancel culture. They didn't want people to know that the Egyptians were actually black. Hello? They were like, oh no, they can't see that. Take the noses off now. Cancel culture back in those days was, we can't let them know the truth that these sophisticated nations were black.
That's right.
All over the world. You go to Mexico, we have sphinxes there too. They have monuments and statues with the nose.
With the nose, the
The
nose,
nose.
the
Our beloved noses.
the
Our,
Negro
our
nose,
the Negro nose. Oh my God, they were here too. Please, let's keep this quiet. They've been all over the world. Yes, we have. And you just got to keep doing your research, because they've been trying to keep this a secret.
So Jade, let me stop you there for a second.
Yes.
Let
Yes.
me divert. Let me digress for a second, right? Remember the movie? I don't know if you know the 1962 Planets of the Ape, when the
Oh my God. Yes.
the astronauts they went to this planet, and when they reached the planet, no, they went to time. Is it they went to time? I think they went to time. Yeah, they traveled through. No, they traveled through the the astronauts. They traveled to another planet, and they landed
Dimension. Yeah.
and then when they landed there, it was all apes. Right? So they were like, huh? Because they left one world where they were in control of the apes, right? The apes.
Now it's the shoes on the other foot.
Wait, no, they came from one planet where they were in control of the apes, and the apes were just starting to evolve, right? To evolve. So when they went to another planet, they were surprised to find New York City was taking over by the apes.
Mm-hmm.
See these people here?
Yes, by the apes.
Yeah.
Yes. Their fear came true. Their fear that now that they're no longer in zoos, now they are in
Exactly.
control.
Yeah.
I was
It's
like,
a
shut up, you human. Shut up, you human. The
man.
superior race.
They love subliminal messages, man. These people, they're master. Listen, Yissayahkongo says the devil was a liar from the beginning, and he speaks a language. Family,
Mm-hmm.
you understand? So remember, if you don't speak a language, it's going to be confusing to you,
Yes.
right? If I come around you and you speak another language, everything about what you people are talking about is going to be confusing to me. Okay? And through a language you can hide. So even if you are a person who's learning a certain language, there's certain nuances, right? There's certain terminologies that you have to be there. You have to be a part of that particular culture to really understand the language,
Where they're coming from.
where they're coming from, right? Because they say 90% of nonverbal, right? Was it nonverbal? 90% of language is nonverbal, right? Is nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there are nuances to a language that if you don't, even if you learn a language, say if you're learning Italian, the Italian language, you're gonna learn the basics, right? But in order for you to really understand that language, you have to have grown in the area of the people who speak the language, because there's a certain way they speak. Maybe they speak with their hands. Maybe they speak with their necks, right? See how people talk, right? Maybe they speak with expressions. Okay? For example, Asians don't speak with expression. They just speak dry. They like just straight up words. They don't have
You're talking about meaning with their hands, not
yeah,
necessarily with their voice, because
nah,
I think
yeah,
they can be very expressive, but not with their
not
hands.
with their hands. Yes,
Not
because
not like Italians use their hands and
because no, no, yeah, because the Sicilians, the black
yeah.
Italians, they speak with expression. The black ones. They have
Mm-hmm.
a very expressive. There is
Mm-hmm.
soul to that particular. So it's the language it's is a tool if when it's used. Basically, what I'm saying is this: in the English language, in the language that we speak here in the Western world, it's a language that at times it's infiltrated. The enemy can take the language and dictate to us what they want us to understand. Okay?
And that goes back to the word paradox. They
Mm-hmm.
take the word and they do the flip side
Mm-hmm.
of it.
Yes.
you know and so they control the narrative. They take,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it messes with you, because when we were talking about this, I kept saying I don't understand why this word, it messes with me.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel culture, cancel. I said just hearing the word used to make my brain feel like a pretzel. I was like, what is it with this word? And then when I looked up the word paradox, I said, this is it. There's
Mm-hmm.
something about the word itself that contradicts itself,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's twisted. It's an inverted truth.
Mm-hmm.
You get the
Yes.
truth and it becomes twisted back in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel culture. So you're not only in our face censoring us,
Mm-hmm.
but you're also trying to say in our face,
Yeah,
while you're focusing on the political,
it's
we're actually going to eliminate you.
it's
We'll eliminate you in your face. In your face.
well,
You don't exist. Your
well,
thoughts don't exist. Your words don't exist. Your ideology, your religion doesn't exist. It is nothing to us, whoever they are, that's trying to control the media, right?
Yeah,
We want to silence all of you and make it law.
there is no word for this, but I guess it's a subliminal word,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because it's not a word that they want you to and it's not a word that wants you to understand. It's a penetrating word that they want to go to your subconscious. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So these people always speak in code. But for us, the Muntu, the Bantu, they have specific words that they want to penetrate your subconscious. Basically, you
Mm-hmm.
understand the word, but you don't really understand the word and how it
And the
apply
subliminal
and how it
and
applies
the
to you.
subliminal.
Yeah, because
Exactly. And
you
the
don't know
fact
how.
that they use that word,
Mm-hmm,
like go back to the Wesley side saying, when they
mm-hmm,
use the word cancel you, that means I'm
mm-hmm,
going to end you. So
mm-hmm,
for those, this is a message to the blacks. I use that word on purpose to say we're going to end you.
mm-hmm,
But in media fashion, it's all about be political correct.
mm-hmm.
But in actuality is you're whispering, I'm ending you. I'm going to end you. I'm going to end you.
Mm,
Cancel culture. We're going to cancel you.
mm-hmm.
You're being targeted, but then everybody's focused on the political. But really, they're just it's systematically putting things in place where, again, this is the chains. These are the invisible chains that
Mm-hmm.
exist that they're going to use to tell us what you can and can't do, where you can go, what you can say, how you think. Oh, that your how you think is not in alignment with our culture. Whose culture?
Yeah.
Whose culture? And I think this is what is experienced in those who try to practice Christianity in China.
Mm,
You know, the ones the Falun Gong, they get murdered, they get mutilated if they go against their culture, what is
mm-hmm,
supposed to be. We're communists and we're not in alignment with that religion. So if
mm-hmm,
they're Christian or Falun Gong, they're murdered. You're not allowed to be religious here. And it's more of the same. They're trying to do that here. What's
mm-hmm.
happening in China is they're trying to do it here.
Yeah.
More of that control. So we're, I guess, in essence, you know, somewhat catching up to what they're doing already over there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you
All
know,
all governments are all connected. They play as if they're not connected, but they're all connected because
yeah.
all governments are run by a very, very small family, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So but anyway, family, we think we went beyond our desired time. Do you have anything to say in closing, Jade? Because
No, I think this was a great narrowcast, and again, we encourage everyone to do your own research. This
mm,
is not something we necessarily think about in terms of phrases, but
mm,
it does affect us. And if you are a writer or a designer or someone who's trying to protect your intellectual properties, this is something that could affect you, where someone steals your ideas or appropriation or you work for a company and whether it's marketing and someone is stealing your clients. It's like you did all the work and someone else gets the raise.
mm,
It happens too often. So we do need to protect ourselves and our integrity, our intellectual property, but also understand the seriousness of don't fall asleep on this topic because it is affecting and will affect your children.
mm,
That's why we have to pay attention extra more, especially with the schools, because this is the new generation. There's a reason it goes beyond just the schools not having enough money for books or computers or oh, the libraries are shutting down because no. If you lose your library, there's also a loss of a plethora of books that you can read as opposed to what's available in Amazon. Get
mm.
my point? You should be able to have access to everything and choose what you're going to read as opposed to saying not available, sold out, sold out. I mean, seriously, we need to really pay attention and not fall asleep on these topics because it's not just a trending word. It is a, a, a systematic approach to silence numbers of people and then put it in law. You have are not falling in alignment with what is written. You know, you're not allowed to say that. You got fired because you didn't acknowledge um
Gender.
someone's gender. Yeah. You accidentally called he or she and she it and you and then all of a sudden you're anti-gay. I mean, you have to get it straight. But they're telling you to get it straight. But then who are you to tell me what to say? I know what my eyes see. You telling me to lie? I see something. I may not
Yeah.
agree, but then you're telling me what to say and what to think and what to believe and how to act, and it goes on and on and on. And I mean, poor kids are going through it, you know. So let's pay attention, family, and protect yourself and stay positive, stay in the light, stay on the right side, which is the Lord's side. Stay in the Word, and know that you're either for or against Him, and definitely I know where I stand, and you need to be on the right side. Stay with the Lord. So we love you. Thank you for joining us in this Narrowcast. Please click on all the links because it does support us. We need the thumbs up. We need the likes. Please share, 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 because we want to build our community and their awareness and knowing their rights and not tolerating nonsense because we've put up with too much for too long. And it's time for us to wake up and encourage us to be proactive in knowing who we are as a people and protecting your culture, your identity. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, family. Thank you. A good day. A good
Bye.
night, wherever you are. Bye
Yes.
bye. May Baba
Bye
Mungu bless
bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye,
Okay.
family.